Football often delivers nights that spark joy, but it can also bring moments of bitter disappointment. Following yesterday's match, Liverpool's captain Virgil van Dijk did not hold back his feelings. His reflection went beyond the simple fact of losing. It was about how the team failed to meet even the most basic expectations. The Dutch defender's honesty exposes both frustration and determination, as he acknowledged the urgent need for improvement. With a tough Champions League fixture awaiting in Turkey, his comments not only highlight the shortcomings, but also raise anticipation for how the team will respond. When analysing Van Dijk's comments, it becomes clear that he was not merely speaking out of frustration, but also out of responsibility. As captain, his role is not limited to leading on the field, but also to voicing the sentiments of the dressing room. His words suggest a collective disappointment, an acknowledgement that the performance was far below the standards expected at a club like Liverpool. The statement, "We were disappointed not only by the result but by the way we played," underlines that the issue went deeper than the scoreboard. It was about attitude, execution, and the failure to apply even the fundamentals that define Liverpool's identity. The nature of the match revealed weaknesses in several areas, from ball retention to defensive organisation. Van Dijk noted that the team struggled with even the basic aspects of their game, which in itself is a rare admission for a side known for intensity, pressing and composure under pressure. This is not the first time Liverpool have faced a setback, but the manner of this defeat clearly stung more. The Dutchman's remarks carry a weight of honesty. Sometimes teams lose to better opponents playing at their best, but losing due to their own underperformance leaves a different taste altogether. This is precisely the tone Van Dijk projected, a sense of regret that they let themselves down more than anything else. Another key point to consider in Van Dijk's comments is the balance between criticism and reassurance. He was quick to admit that there is no need to panic, that the team does not see this as a crisis. Instead, he emphasized the need for quick recovery and improvement, with the Champions League match in Turkey looming. This message is crucial because it prevents negativity from spiraling into fear while still holding the squad accountable. He framed the defeat as a learning moment, suggesting that bad days can happen but must not be repeated. Such leadership is important as it provides perspective in the heat of disappointment. From a tactical perspective, Van Dijk's acknowledgement that Liverpool failed in their basics points to issues such as sloppy passing, poor positioning, and lack of sharpness in transitions. These are areas where the team usually excels, and when absent, their entire system falters. Klopp's philosophy relies on high-energy pressing, quick recovery of the ball, and clinical execution in attack. When the fundamentals are missing, the structure looks fragile. Van Dijk's assessment mirrors this reality. It was not about complicated tactical failures, but about the lack of cohesion in the simplest elements of play. This makes the defeat more frustrating, but also more straightforward to fix if the team responds correctly. It is also telling that Van Dijk highlighted the importance of the goalkeeper, describing him as perhaps the best in the world. This recognition is both a compliment and a reminder of how much the team depended on individual brilliance to avoid a heavier defeat. In elite football, when a goalkeeper stands out too often, it usually signals that the rest of the side is underperforming. Van Dijk's praise can be seen as gratitude, but also as a subtle indication that the outfield players must step up and ensure the goalkeeper is not constantly placed under pressure. Looking ahead to the Champions League clash in Turkey, Van Dijk's words serve as both a warning and a rallying call. Turkish teams, especially at home, are known for their intensity, passionate supporters, and difficult atmospheres. Any repeat of the lackluster display from yesterday could prove costly. Van Dijk understands this and deliberately brought attention to the need for readiness. His leadership style is not about hiding the truth. It is about facing shortcomings head-on while reminding his teammates of the standards they must uphold. In that sense, his comments were less about venting and more about preparation for what lies ahead. Psychologically, moments like these can define a season. A single poor performance does not ruin a campaign, but it can either become a turning point for improvement or the beginning of a downward spiral if ignored. Van Dijk's insistence on addressing the basics suggests that Liverpool intend to use this setback constructively. The acknowledgement of mistakes, paired with the resolve to correct them quickly, reflects a growth mindset. This is critical because teams competing in both the Premier League and Champions League cannot afford prolonged dips in form. Every game is an opportunity to rebuild momentum, and Van Dijk's comments suggest he views the upcoming fixture as the perfect stage to respond. From the perspective of supporters, his honesty is refreshing. Fans often grow frustrated when players or managers deflect responsibility after defeats. By admitting that the team was below standard and emphasizing improvement, Van Dijk aligns himself with the emotions of the fan base. He does not sugarcoat the reality, but also does not sink into negativity. This balanced communication helps maintain trust between players and supporters, an essential element when tough fixtures are on the horizon. Finally, one must consider the broader implications of his comments within the squad. For younger players and new signings, hearing such candid reflections from the captain sets a tone of accountability. It reminds everyone that wearing the Liverpool shirt comes with expectations and that complacency is not tolerated. At the same time, by stressing that it was one of those days and hoping it remains the only one of the season, Van Dijk instills a sense of resilience. Mistakes are acceptable if they are acknowledged and corrected. What matters is the response. His leadership in this moment could be as important as his defensive contributions on the pitch. In summary, Van Dijk's post-match reflections capture the delicate balance between criticism and optimism. They reveal a captain who recognizes the gravity of poor performances but refuses to let one bad day define the team. His focus on improvement, fundamentals, and readiness for the Champions League illustrates both his leadership qualities and his understanding of the challenges ahead. More than a reaction to a single defeat, his comments serve as a blueprint for how Liverpool must approach adversity throughout the season. Van Dijk's candid remarks remind us that even the strongest teams can falter, but true character is revealed in how they respond. His words reflect not only the disappointment of defeat, but also the determination to bounce back stronger, with eyes firmly set on the challenges ahead. For Liverpool, the road forward demands focus, unity, and sharper execution, especially with the Champions League test awaiting in Turkey. If this setback becomes the spark that reignites their intensity and discipline, then the frustration of yesterday could transform into a vital lesson. Ultimately, resilience will define their season's story.